A lot of students are asking me how to prepare for CIPP-A exam. Well, it's not that hard to prepare, at least. It's harder to pass. This, in my experience, is one of the most complicated exams that IAPP has at the moment. Well, not looking at AIGP exam. So in this exam, you have to learn 3 jurisdictions: Singapore, Hong Kong, and India. What is not very good about preparation for this exam that you are learning India's previous data protection framework. As soon as CIPP exam's body of knowledge hasn't changed since 2021, you won't be learning and you won't be looking at the recent India law. So you would be focusing on the previous framework, which, well, let me be honest, is really complicated. So how do you prepare to pass CIPP-A exam? I recommend my students to adjust their preparations into their schedule and their timing. So as soon as you have to learn 3 jurisdictions and you would have to learn a lot of details, my first advice is have a good resource and make your notes using your hands. Why? The reason is pretty easy. Nowadays, with the usage of computers, with a lot of social media in our life, we, well, have some problems with memory. Some psychologists say that our focusing cycle right now is less than 8 minutes. So to be sure that you truly focus and understand, you read the material and you make the handwritten notes. The best option is to make flowcharts. This way you focus on key material and it would be really easy for you to revise the material. So first advice, handwritten notes from good resource. Secondly, no matter which resource you choose, you have to take the actual laws and the guidances from the supervisory authority. Why? Because, well, when you're reading a book, no matter how good this book is, usually it is the opinion of the author, and you will be reading the author's opinion. It doesn't work like this with the laws. You want to pass this exam not only just to have these 4 letters as a shield on your chest, you want to be able to consult your clients. So to be able to consult your clients, you need to know the actual law or to know the actual guidances. Some students right now rely on ChatGPT usage. So they put the guidance into ChatGPT and ask him to make for them keynotes. This is very wrong. So don't use this approach. Why? Because ChatGPT is just a language model. Yes, it can cut out some of the material for you. It may look good, but true lawyer who wants to work with the clients would never do that. The level of analysis that ChatGPT can provide you and the key points that ChatGPT would take as the key points wouldn't be, in most cases, key points that you, as actual lawyer, would choose. So the next advice is to read the actual material and not to use ChatGPT. Advice number 3 would be to try to fit into your schedule everyday learning with the special days for revision. As I have told you, in this jurisdiction you have 3, in this exam you have 3 different jurisdictions, which make it pretty tough and similar, and you would need to focus on comparing the details from one jurisdiction to another. And moreover, this IAPP test has comparing legal questions, meaning that in one question you would be asked, what stands out in Singapore laws which you won't find in India laws and Hong Kong laws? Trust me, these are the hardest questions, especially if you have been learning chaotically and haven't followed my advice number 1. So keep learning and then few days for revision of the key points. And The last advice, but not least advice, ask somebody to ask you some questions on this or that aspects of jurisdiction. Sure, that has to be a colleague or some kind of lawyer who would be able to at least formulate good questions. But this would help you maintain really good level of knowledge. For the preparation, I recommend you to use my CIPP-A course or to buy my CIPP-A study guide, which is available on Amazon. This is a comprehensive book that not only covers the body of knowledge for exam, but also analyzes the new India law and, as a bonus section, has a full part on China privacy framework, which would be useful if you decide to pass CIPP-CN exam. See you in my books and courses.